Welcome and thank you for joining the Live in Divine Harmony podcast. I'm Carmen, your divine synergist of Heart's Joy. I'm an awakened person of purpose, a spiritual life coach. I have a passion for life. I'm an author, a podcast host, and a numerologist. Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode on the Live in Divine Harmony podcast. Be sure to share, like, subscribe so you never miss another episode. So a generation of us have been taught to not feel our feelings. And this may be you. You may be part of the generation. I was definitely part of that generation. I can remember coming home from school, crying every so many weeks. I was upset. I was confused. I had a mix of emotions coming up, and I wasn't sure how to express them. And I was told anything from suck it up to turn the other cheek. And I didn't understand any of that as a kid. I just knew that how I felt at that particular time. And I was taught that it wasn't okay to express them. And what happens over time is when we don't feel our feelings, we end up pushing them down. And when we push them down, their energy, everything is energy, and it festers in our body. And that turns into dis-ease over time. Especially when there's been no healing done or no attempt at any healing, and because a part of healing is to bring up those feelings and to create, for some cases, a different type of coping mechanism to feel your way through those feelings, to understand that it's safe to feel those feelings, to know that you're okay to feel those feelings. And that is one of the many things that's a part of our healing journey. And when we aren't tapped into our feelings, we can't pick up on the energies around us. It's hard for us to walk into a room and pick up on the different energies of the different people that are surrounding us at that particular time. It took me a while, years, before I could figure out one of my gifts, which was I can see through people in the sense that I can see through their inauthenticity. I can see when they're being fake. And I always knew that something was off. I just couldn't put that puzzle piece together just yet. And when I discovered this about myself, when you look back, a lot of it's because along my healing journey, I finally allowed myself to feel my feelings and to truly embrace and step into that spiritual gift that I've been given. So think of it this way. When we are masking our feelings, when we're not in touch with our feelings, we're not in touch with our authentic self. And that's why we come across as fake, inauthentic. We think we're being authentic, but we're still wearing that mask, if you will, that invisible mask, hiding behind it because we don't want anybody to know who we really are. We're afraid. We're afraid of the judgments. We're frankly afraid of ourselves is really what it boils down to. We're afraid of experiencing shame again, which goes back to a feeling of shame. Energy and feelings, they literally go hand in hand. And this is something that I talk a lot about in the mini class and dive in the masterclass, Creating a Life You Love masterclass. And you start to understand how energy and feelings are intertwined, and then how the energy and feelings plays into the thoughts, the words, and the actions. Because a lot of people are not talking about the energy and the feelings because guess why? We've been taught not to feel our feelings. And I've noticed that we've got another generation that, and really it's my generation, is then raising their kids differently, saying it is okay to feel your feelings. And so notice, this is just more of a side note, notice now the different generations and what they've been taught, especially when you're interacting with them. So why am I bringing all of this up? Because when we can't tap into our feelings, we can't tap into God. We can't tap into Jesus. We can't tap into that higher frequency. We have a difficult time raising our frequency vibration, which is one of the keys to manifesting. It's one of the keys to co-creating. We have a difficult time co-creating a life we love. In order to heal, we get to feel our feelings. We get to heal our emotions. We've been taught that this is all horrible to do. Why? It's actually all by design. It's by design from the church. It's by design from society, from marketing, from everything. It's by design from those outside influences. So I've talked about it before, and I really want to focus on it in this episode. The enemy is in your face right now. I mean, it's like this. And what I've noticed is that a lot of people are just saying it's really not there because they don't want to see it, because they're afraid to do any healing of what that may mean for them to actually look at the enemy. And as you're listening to this or watching this, you may ask, well, what is that enemy? Well, it's going to mean something different for everyone. So ask yourself, what does it mean for you? We have a choice right now, and it's huge. As a collective society, we have a choice right now where we're either going to say no more, or you're going to just continue to live your life saying one thing and doing another. And I started to notice that with someone who I was going to be doing some business work with. And I started to notice that what they would say versus what they did were two different things. And I finally just said, thank you and no thank you, because we are always at choice. I would rather work with somebody who's going to, they're in alignment, and what they say is truly what they do. This is why you hear a lot of people say actions speak louder than words, because they do. That's the one main difference, in my opinion, between manifesting and co-creating, is taking action. Saying you're a Christian, yet your actions aren't in alignment with your words. I see this all the time. Another example, get rid of the clothes that promote the heinous crimes happening. Stop purchasing and supporting the businesses that target children, that promote racism, that promote and frankly create division and hate. I actually watched a gal who I follow right after the whole Balenciaga thing, when she realized that the items that she had in her closet were made by Balenciaga owned that company essentially. And she was like, no more, I'm done. And I watched her on video cut everything up. And I've watched other people do that as well, and cut themselves off and say, no more. No more. Remember, you are always at choice. Your money talks. Your money is essentially a vote. You're saying yes with what you support, what businesses you support, and you're saying yes to what that business is doing. That's how powerful you are. That's how powerful your money is. It's all energy. And why am I bringing all of this up? Because we get to talk about it. It's time. It's beyond time to talk about this. And it's going to feel uncomfortable. A lot of people have probably already switched off when I talked about God or Jesus. Interesting. Why does that trigger you? Wherever you are uncomfortable, whatever feels uncomfortable, because it's a feeling, that's where your growth gets to happen. Stop following the leader. Stop being worried about what you're buying, or what the next Gucci bag or clothing that you're going to buy. Stop turning an eye to what's really being promoted. And ask yourself, why are you turning a blind eye to what's being promoted? Satan is alive and well and has been. It's literally now in your face. Stop feeding the darkness. We are being called to be the light. And by the way, remember, Jesus flipped tables. Jesus was not well liked. Jesus stood out amongst the crowd. And ask yourself, why? And why is it so difficult for you to stand out in the crowd? And why is it so difficult for you to stand for love? Stand with Jesus. Stand for the children. Stand for the highest light. Stand for peace. Stand for unity. So ask yourself, what's it going to take from you? So in order to experience change, you get to do something differently, but you have to interrupt the pattern. Again, it's your choice. When you start to see these old patterns creep up, which by the way, they have for all of us, because now we're in this retrograde free world, it feels like a lot of chaos is happening, or people are creating the chaos because that's an old pattern for them, is to live in that chaos. And if you're thinking, oh, and judging yourself about it and feeling shameful about it, that's your meaning that you're giving it. You must interrupt the pattern. Tony Robbins talks about this. How do you interrupt the pattern? First, you stop doing that thing. You stop the old habit first. Whatever that looks like for you. And don't shame yourself for it. Again, it's feeling. Everything goes back to that feeling. We are feeling spiritual beings. So can you let go of that old habit? And by the way, this may mean that you let go of everything that you were once taught, which is a hard concept for a lot of us right now, even though that's where we're going. We get to let go of everything that we once knew was true because it's not. And it's uncomfortable feeling. It all goes back down to your feeling. And if you aren't feeling your feelings, that's why you are where you are right now. That's exactly why you're experiencing what you're experiencing. That's exactly why you are creating this life that's in front of you. It's okay and you are safe to feel your feelings. Sometimes we feel like change will hurt us because it's the unknown. We have no idea what's going to happen. And that is a great, exciting time because we have no idea. And when you step back and you say, you know what, I have no idea what this is going to look like. And I'm so excited. It's literally the same feeling. It's just the meaning that you put with it. And if you'd like for me to dive into the next episode and talk about that, let me know about the meanings that we attach to that feeling that we feel. You see, we are being called and frankly pushed to change, and we have been since 2020. How can you embrace change in your life, wherever you are right now? How can you embrace the feelings that come up for you every single day? Please know that you are you're invited to join our Creating a Life You Love free community to help you during this time, to help you navigate this time, and for support in a like-minded community. You can go to hearts-joy.mn for mindynetworks.co. Let me know if you have any questions at all. Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's podcast episode. And I will see you soon. Sending you much love.